pode falar.
Ele pode falar, queria saber, não sobre o filme, mas como é a divisão do trabalho deles? Como funciona a organização deles nessas duas funções?
I start work really early. Like Joe. That's in my band. Yeah, like Joe, Joe works all the time. You work all the time too?
No, you
work all the time.
I wait 9:30, 10.
I start work around 6:30. And then I work. I do a lot of writing and plotting and talk to the editors and the guys. And during the day, usually I work at whatever work, TV, Arrow, or whatever we're working on, and then I write at night, write on the weekends. Sometimes during the day, during trips, I'll write. But like during the day, sometimes I break down stories and write. But I write. I just like writing. So, and I can write. I can write anywhere. It doesn't matter. I don't have to be at a desk. I could be. Like I was at Joe's house at like midnight just writing because I felt like writing. So, and his dogs are loud. But I just balance it out. I don't have kids or anything.
Quem mais? Depois de revelar o jogo tem um outro personagem que deixa na mira para ser revelado do você só.
Okay. Do you have any plans for the show? Yes. Next year.
So he already made it.
I think it's not on that, right?
No, solo here.
Any hint?
No.
No hints. And you forgot that he already did that with Shazam.
Okay.
Yes.
Black
Of
Adam,
course.
Black Adam, Sinestro.
No, that guy.
So
Not that
serious.
guy, yeah.
This project will be a consequence of my
Sort of. It'll be. We'll announce it next year.
Create your own comics in the future. Any point.
What's that?
Create your own comics. Your own.
Yes. That's all I can say. Yes, I've talked to Vertigo about a book right now.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you. I'll ask in English, but it's for you too also, so you can answer that. So you talk about you talk a little bit about your process, the way you work together. But how it is the way you work together, and with Gene in the question of character design, because we see that of course there is some kind of I don't want to say standard, but I would say some kind of above management decision about character design and how creative Ivan, for example, can be, or how can change in the character design, or how can you change the story to your heart content, but at the same time having to care with the plot, with the plot of the saga and stuff like that.
I mean, you guys can speak to design.
Yeah, well, sometimes we have to design.
We design.
Actually, I thought it wasn't a redesign.
Yeah.
The redesign, make more.
You make it in yours.
Yeah, I did mine style.
Integrate cyborg more slim.
Because when I was reading the Jack script, I wasn't seeing the cyborg like a tank.
Like a tank, yeah.
He's a young guy.
Yeah.
He's dynamic. He needs some movement, and he's too bad. I was seeing him more dynamic, more young movement. And when you can show this movement, it's better to use the emotion, and it's part of the face to show the emotion.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. I spoke in English just for him to understand, but you can speak Portuguese, of course, and the answer. Okay.
And for example, the face is just a part of the face to show emotion. The another way to show emotion in a character is in the body.
Body language.
The body language. If the guy is a tank, it's hard to use the body language to show the emotion. story limit is part of this. So because then I make him more stimuli.
And also,
It wasn't because I didn't like that. I want to do different. No, I had a reason to do that. I always try to change something when using a reason to do it, not do just for fun.
Look, the thing is, there are some character designs that we can do anything about. Some hours. Doesn't really belong to our work.
Yeah.
And each artist also finds his way or her way to interpret the design. So it can change a little bit here and there.
But how this is not an issue? Like when you talk about
It's an issue.
But it's like a creative process.
Yeah, it's
You have people, you have editorial that have their direction, and us that have our desire for a costume. But yeah, we have a great editor. We work with Brian Cunningham. He's one of the best editors in the business.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's supportive. He's got great ideas. I love working with him. When he has ideas on a costume, they're great. Like so, I trust our editor. I'll trust Brian with anything.
Yeah.
I trust Brian. I'll pitch every idea I have to Brian before I write it. So we trust our editor implicitly. So there's no. It's a great creative process. It's not a. If you have a great editor, then
You don't have to be forced.
yeah, and Brian, Ivan talks about how he wants to tweak Cyborg a little bit. Brian immediately understands it and is 100% supportive, and then he's the one that kind of protects the book, protects our creative process.
Existe uma briga entre a equipe criativa e a galera dos editores, né? É uma parceria mesmo.
There are no fights between Brian and James and editorial.
No, and again, it's because we have, Brian Cunningham is one of the best editors in the business. I can't say enough about him. He's all about making the book the best it can be for this book. And then he helps us organize, because Justice League ties to a lot of the book. He helps us really protect the book. But we've been working with him for years. So he's part of the team.
Falando mais sobre essa parceria de empreendedores e criadores, etc., eu queria que o João falasse se teve alguma ideia dele que já tivesse sido recusada pelo editor, se ele pode dizer qual foi
No, I mean, of course you do. You have ideas that don't work for certain things, but it's a shared universe. This is the way it happens. Like Aquaman, we had a lot of arguments about Aquaman and our take on Aquaman, but ultimately it was supported and it worked. So it's good.
A gente trabalhou durante duas fases na revista do Flash. Primeiro com o Manuel e a segunda com o Barry Allen. Qual das duas ele gostou mais de fazer e se ele gostaria de voltar à revista do Flash?
I'd like to go back someday, but not today.
Ficou dessas duas
Oh, I like them both because I grew up on Wally. I wrote Wally for 5 years. So I wrote it all the time. To show me this big Brazilian book. No, it's
Spanish.
Spanish book. Flash. But I love Barry too. I love working on Barry. I'm really working on the TV pilot right now with Barry. It's a lot of fun. I love that character. I just want to find a very great artist.
Since you're talking about villains, about characters, and you're talking before about villains, and you're writing forever, do you think villains have more layers than the heroes?
I think
More to explore?
I think some villains do, absolutely. But I also think, we were talking earlier, I think villains are also incredibly unpredictable. You don't really know what Lex Luthor and Bizarro and Sinestro and Captain Cold and Catwoman and Black Panther are going to end up doing forever. They're not really clear. So I find them, they're very interesting. I've always loved writing villains since Flash. I wrote the notes back. That Captain Cold. Yeah, I was doing Captain, like on my door, my office, I have
Pode fazer a pergunta.
Falando ainda sobre vilões, vocês, quando começaram os 952 com a Liga, o primeiro vilão escolhido é o vilão, talvez um dos mais icônicos da DC, que é o Darkseid. Como foi o processo para decidir que vocês começariam já com o Darkseid?
Ele e o Jim.
Exactly. Yeah. Because he's the biggest DC villain. like literally, physically, like he's the biggest DC villain.
I think that if he shows up, you know,
if he shows up, you have to have it, basically. I didn't want it to just be, Felix Faust or something. It had to be like the biggest villain you could have. And also, it's just the first step. You know, he's gonna be back in Justice League. These guys are gonna draw the knot. But he's gonna be back in Justice League sooner or later.
2 years. No.
We have Justice League plotted out for at least the next two plus years.
Eu tenho curiosidade lá de trás da construção dos novos 52, a partir do ponto de ignição. Como foi essa criação, essa reformulação para se poder chegar a resultados tão novos como se fosse do
Posso complementar?
Deus do céu.
Como foi discutido esse caso até chegar nesse ponto?
It's a great question. That's probably a better question for David.
Yeah, I think so. And it's, you know, how much time before those contracts that we started?
Well, I mean, we started work on Aquaman before that.
Before being decided.
Yeah, before that. And so it didn't really affect our book much. You know, our book is very accessible anyway. So it didn't really affect Aquaman at all. Justice League affected. Yes.
Isso aí é uma pergunta mais pro Ben e pro Jim do que pra ele, sinceramente. Mesmo porque quando a gente começou a fazer o Aquaman, não fazia nem parte dos novos 52. A história era pra sair direto
Vocês aproveitaram
do Brand Stage, onde é mais claro. E aí, quando foi decidido, a gente só que o Aquaman dá pra você ler sem New 52 ou Old 52, whatever.
Yeah, Aquaman was, Aquaman.
Mas teve ficou então vocês adaptaram o
Sim, mas nem
material.
precisou muita coisa.
Mas no caso de vocês, mas foi uma coisa que vocês sabem, outros autores estavam trabalhando também no começo de série, talvez tenham tido alguma dificuldade na adaptação, vocês sabem, de alguns casos.
We tweaked Aquaman a little bit. Justice League, I had to rethink. I had to rethink this.
A Liga ele teve que repensar. Eles iam fazer.
e já ia fazer liga também, e aí teve que
repensar coisa de.
My favorite book right now is Peter Tomasi's Batman Around. Really good book.
I love a bunch of these. I read them every month. And I also read a bunch of English books. Like Saga, Peter, I love to read all independent books, like Mage, Hellboy, all of this kind of stuff. And
coleções antigas, eu gosto sempre de estar, não só pela história, mas de estar recordando a arte, recordando a parte emocional. Eu gosto muito da memória emocional que eu tenho com as revistas. Parte dessa memória emocional tem a ver com essas releituras que eu gosto de fazer, não só pela história, mas também para poder rever partes artísticas, coisas que eu gostava, que já não tem essa energia ainda que eu descobri lendo essas revistas. Foi uma das minhas principais influências. Eu sempre tentar recordar o que me influenciou no quadrinho, sempre voltar para coisas que me influenciaram e ativar minha memória emocional em relação a esses trabalhos antigos.
Pessoal, eles estão com muita fome, ainda temos uma rodada de autógrafos daqui a 1 hora, mais ou menos, 1h30, 20. Vamos encerrar daqui a pouco.
So, how do you see the interest in digital comics and how this new media, the way comics is put in mobile devices, how does this influence your creative process? If so,
well, so on Aquaman #1, the very first page, I wanted these long vertical panels so that the creatures were down here. So when you read it panel by panel on the iPad, your eye would feel like you were just in the ocean. So that right when you got Aquaman 1, it was like your first panels are these long panels. So you see these creatures come up. So it does affect how you read it, because you have a new tool at your fingertips. You can now, every panel can be revealed. You know, when you read, I love reading panel by panel, because the panels themselves tell a story. So if we want really, we do a lot of widescreen panels, because we want that real epic feeling of Justice League, and then sometimes you'll do these long ones, or you do square, so it changes how you, like if you want to feel line, you got a lot, like if they're in a tunnel, a lot of square panels, so it's like black, but it changes how you work. But Aquaman #1, we knew we were going to go digital. 52 was going to be D&D digital, so I knew right away I wanted Aquaman 1 to be the one book where you open it up and it felt like you were at the bottom of the ocean. So it's very significant. But we want to make it invisible to the rest of the book, So if you're reading the book normally, it's still cool, and you still have that eye, But when you're digitally, you have that extra layer of offering that they can do panel by panel. That's why our panel layouts are so important, but they're also, I think, the storytelling is it's not traditional. It's like modern classic.
I think the most important to me is make the reader understand what is happening. When you see the page, you need to understand. Not try, what's happening here? No, just see it. And got it. That's my focus on this drawing.
Yeah. No, he even takes that.
And that's why, for example, put panel by panel, or break the panel, breaking the panel, avoid this kind of thing to make because
It has to be clear.
Yeah, to make it clear. Easy, like reading a newspaper, for example. Because my concept is always can have a new guy reading the book for the first time.
That's always
Always will have. And I think it's important to him to get a book